Welcome to EDU World Space.
For this question, the sample size we've been given is 6. So n equals 6. The standard deviation is 4.1. And we're supposed to find the 99% confidence interval. Thus, our alpha is 0.01. 0.01. Degrees of freedom, in our case, becomes 6 minus 1, that is 5. Alpha by 2 becomes 0.005. Oh, let me fix this. Alpha by 2 becomes 0.005, and 1 minus alpha by 2 becomes 0.995. Now, using these values, we can find the critical values from the chi-square distribution. The critical values we need are chi-square alpha by 2, which is chi-square 0.005 with the degrees of freedom 5. And if you check the table, this value comes to be 16.750. 16.750. The other critical value we need is chi-square 1 minus alpha by 2, which is chi-square 0.995 with degrees of freedom 5. And if you check the table, this value is 0.412. Let me fix this. There we go. 0.412. Using the critical values, we can calculate the boundaries for our confidence interval. Let's calculate the lower boundary for our confidence interval for the variance. To calculate the lower boundary, the formula is n minus 1 upon chi-square alpha by 2 multiplied by the sample variance. Let's plug in the values we have. N is 6. Chi-square alpha by 2, we just found that it was 16.750 in our case. 750. And the sample variance is basically the standard deviation square, so 4.1 squared. 4.1 squared. If you simplify this, the value comes to 5.0179. The upper boundary for our confidence interval would be n minus 1 upon chi-square 1 minus alpha by 2 . Let me fix this again. I'm still getting the hang of this whiteboard. Multiply this by the variance. Let's plug in the values again. We have 6 minus 1. We found that chi-square 1 minus alpha by 2 was 0.412 in our case. 0.412 multiplied by the sample variance, which is 4.1 squared. If you simplify this, you'll get the value. Let me write it down here. If you simplify this, you'll get the value 204.0049. Now we've gotten the values for our confidence interval boundaries for the variance. Now to get the boundaries for the standard deviation, or the confidence interval for the standard deviation, we just take the square root of the boundary we have for the confidence interval for the variance. The boundaries we have are 5.0179 and 204.0049. Let me just write them down here. 5.0179 and 204.0049. These are the two boundaries for our confidence interval for the variance. Now let's just take the square root. If you calculate this, the value you'll get is 2.2401. And the second value, which is square root of 204.0049, is 14.2830. So The confidence interval for our standard deviation is 2.2401 and 14.2830. I'm just going to mark this with a sigma here so that we don't get confused. And as we found before, the confidence interval for the variance is 5.0179 and 204, my bad, 0049. So this is how you find the confidence interval for the standard deviation and the variance. I'm just going to mark this with the sigma squared so that we don't get confused. And there we go. Just going to put it in box.